Life is built layer by layer, through quiet days and shifting seasons. Not every chapter is bold or defined, yet each adds depth to the story we're creating. Take a moment, settle in, and let your creativity explore the landscapes that shape us. Hi team, I'm Jess or Jashi Corinne on behalf of Archer and Olive, and in this video we're going to be unboxing the June 2026 subscription box. This one is called Layered Lands and is inspired by the desert with earthy tones and natural elements that you might find in beautiful sunburnt vistas. It's good to note that there are spoilers ahead, so if you'd rather grab your box and unbox it yourself before watching this one, then jump down into the description box for where you can jump over to Archer and Olive's website and nab this one for yourself. In this video we're going to look through everything in the box, so without further ado, let's grab out our first item. This one is our information card that tells us all of what to expect in the box. So flipping that one over, you're more than welcome to take pause and have a look at what to expect, but as we're going to look through all of these together, I'm not going to read this one because I kind of want to be surprised too. This card is definitely going to end up in my junk journal, but let's grab out our next item, with this one being a set of decorative tapes. We have 4 different designs with a range of widths, and as per usual, we're going to swatch out all of these. The widest one is 4.5 centimeters across and has a vertical design. The second widest is 2 centimeters across or 20 millimeters and has a horizontal design. The third is 1.5 centimeters with a lovely rich red and some foiling. And the fourth one is 9 millimeters, but this one has a gradient, so you can see that it starts paler and gets darker and darker. And where the start of the tape is, you can see how that transition has come along. As said though, we're going to swatch all of these out, and just because a design is maybe intended to be used in a specific direction, doesn't mean you have to use it in that direction. I do love the ultra wide one though, because it does really lend itself well to that vertical alignment, because it kind of looks like layered hills in a scenery. Plus that one also has some foiling, which is really pretty. The notebook that I'm swatching these ones on doesn't come with a subscription box, but it is from Archer and Olive, so you can see how those tapes would look on their paper. Here you can really see the foiling that we have on that red tape in particular, but then we also have the little highlights in the vertical tape, which again, so pretty. In terms of that foiling, it is a rose gold color, and I really like that all of the different colors we have in these 3 tapes can be found in this one, along with this kind of pink tone as well, which is really pretty. I do appreciate that we have different tape sizes and orientations in this set, but slipping those ones carefully back into the box and getting out our next item, this one being a set of gel pens. Flipping over, you can see what color palette we have for these. So desert rose, sienna, sage green, dark olive, and canyon clay. Definitely leaning into a natural color palette, but let's see how they look on paper. While I'm swatching those ones out, it's good to note that all of the caps are the color of the pen, and they have the little ampersand in gold, which looks very cute. And the pens also come with some name labels so that you can put those on the body of the pen so you know exactly what color they are. Of course, given that they are gel pens, the ink in these is quite opaque, so you can also use it on different colors of paper rather than just white. I in particular wanted to test it out on blackout paper just to see how the colors show up, and I really love how the paler colors pop really nicely on that. Notably, the dark olive, being a darker shade, doesn't show up quite as well. It doesn't quite have the same level of contrast, but that's not necessarily unexpected given that it is a darker shade. Having a closer look at the colors though, you can see those paler pens show up really nicely on the blackout paper, and all of them are nicely visible on the white. If I had to pick a favorite color, it would probably be the sage green, but I also quite like the sienna as well. I'm gonna add my sticker labels later, so I'm just gonna keep the pens in the same order that they came out of the packet, and slipping it carefully back into that one, we're going to grab out the next item from the box, this one being a set of mini note cards with envelopes. This one comes with 12 cards, and we're going to look through all of the designs, but as you can see, we have 6 of them that come pre-colored, and 6 of them that are open so that we can add our own decoration to them. Each of these haven't been folded yet, so we have the front and the back of the card. So we have design 1's front and the back, design 2's front with the sun, and then a continuation of the sky on the back. Design 3 has this really pretty gradient on the front, and then that continues onto the back. This one looks like it was done with watercolor. For number 4, we have the scenery on the front, and then a continuation on the back that is designed so that it wouldn't look upside down, which I very much appreciate, because once you fold this one, obviously that's going to be how your card sits, so you don't want it looking upside down on the other side. For design 5, we have some cacti with a pattern in the background, and then on the back we have a continuation of that base color. And then for number 6, we have some desert scenery with a continuation of the same color on the back. Getting into the ones that have been left open for our own decoration, the back of these is always blank, so just looking at the front, each of these has a foiled border. So the first one looks like this. The second looks like this, super shiny. The third one just has the bottom border, again with that foiling. You can see when it catches the light, it is super pretty. This one has more of a frame with the moon and some stars and sparkles. This one has an arch with that landscape design. And then our 12th card just has a simple double border. Technically speaking, you could add extra embellishment to any of these, but I think that these ones in particular would be really nice to do some of your own card designing. And these ones I'm kind of tempted to cut up and put into my journal. Look at how pretty that foiling is. Again, the foiling on all of these is that rose gold color. As for the envelopes, we have 4 different colors, and each of these has a pre-folded base section, but then the top just needs to be folded over, and there's a little slit where the top of the envelope can be slid into. Notably, the cards and the envelopes are made to work together, so once you've written in your card and folded it up, it fits very nicely inside the envelope. And in terms of dimensions, when it's all folded up, the envelope is an 8.4 centimeter square, and the card is a 7.5 centimeter square. Putting those ones back into their packet though, in terms of decorating those blank cards, of course we already looked at the washi tape and the gel pens, but our next item could also be used to help do some decoration, with this one being a set of stamping and stenciling tools. I know the box isn't the point, but I do love the box. And if you're wondering what are stamp and stencil tools, don't worry, we are jumping right on into this one to have a look. In this one you can see we have 3 inks down the bottom, we have a little dabber tool and some little dabber pads, along with a stamping block. And if we get that one out first, you can see initially it looks a little bit cloudy. This can be a little bit tricky to do, but once you get the corner up, it comes off really easily. And after you peel it off from both sides, you'll be left with a much more see-through acrylic block. See, look how see-through it is. You can barely notice it's there except for the etched grid line. This makes it really helpful for putting stamps down in the correct place. But as said, we do have some other items in here. Getting out this one, as said, this is a dabber tool. We have a handle on one end and then a Velcro pad on the other. And that's because these little dabber pads have the other side of the Velcro. I very much appreciate that we've been given 3 of these so that we have 1 for each of the colors of ink. It means you won't have to blend any of the colors because you only have 1 dabber pad, but to use it, you just need to secure it onto the end using the Velcro, and then you can pick up the ink and dab that onto your page, or wherever it is you're going to be using the ink. We are going to get all of these out and swatch them though, just so that we can really see what those ink colors look like. On the back, it tells us that these inks are fast drying, waterproof, fade-proof, archival, acid-free, non-toxic pigment inks. And the 3 colors that we have are terracotta, olive green, and sandstone. I'm a little particular when it comes to my ink swatches, so I've gone and protected my page with some washi tape, mainly so that I can pull the washi tape off after I've done the swatching to get crisp, clean borders of color. It's effectively like making a little stencil for myself, a stencil that's just made out of washi tape, but this is how you can get very crisp and clean borders on your swatching or your ink work if you wanted to. From top to bottom, we have the terracotta, the sandstone, and the olive green, and I love how the color palette of this matches really nicely with gel pens. And I also love how you can use the inks to just build the color up, so putting it on the page just a little bit to have a paler section, or going over it a couple times to really build that color up. I think that the variety you can get just by going over more or less times can make for a very pretty effect. But other than just using our dabber tool to put the ink onto the page, it is always nice to have some other supplies that we can use our inks with, especially given the fact that we have this acrylic stamping block. So the next item we have is a stamp set. And again, just ignoring the fact that I will probably be cutting up this packaging and using it in my junk journal because I absolutely love it. This one still has that kind of layered landscape look to it, but just made with all of these little dots. But opening this one up, it has a lot of the design elements that we've seen in other items. Holding this one over our swatching notebook so that you can actually see all of them. We've got the canyons and different cacti, the sun, and a lot of fun elements that we can either use to decorate those cards or put them in our journal or anything else. But to actually use the acrylic stamps, you just need to take them off the sheet, adhere them to the acrylic block, ink them up, and press them down. This one has 22 different individual stamps, And with a stamp block this size, you don't just have to do one stamp at once. You could put a bunch of different ones on here to build a little scenery and then ink them up and press the entire thing down at once. This block is wide enough to fit in an A5 journal really comfortably, but cleaning this ink off so that we can put it away safely, we don't just have stamps to play around with, we also have stencils. This one is the next item that we have in the sub box, and getting those stencils out so that we can have a look at the designs. We have 4 different stencil sheets with a bunch of different designs. The first one having some larger shapes, the second having some more shapes and patterns, including that dot design that I really like. The third has some scenery building elements, and the fourth has some more patterns that we've seen in other items. When it comes to using a stencil in your notebook or anywhere else, the most important part really for me is making sure it doesn't move during. So what I always like to do is lay it down in the place that I want it, and then just use some washi tape to hold it securely so that as I do my inking over the top, it doesn't slip and slide. I'm going to use my favorite pattern to do a test of this one, and again, because I want it to be in a very specific place, I'm also going to line the page with some washi tape so I can keep other areas clear from ink. To do the inking over the top of this one, I'm just going to use my dabbers from before, using a different dabber for each of the ink colors. For my inking, I wanted to use all 3 of the colors together so I could make a little gradient effect with my pattern. And similar to what we did with the swatches up here, you can just either do more layering or less layering to deepen the color or make it paler. But these stencils could be used to make some really fun designs, and while I've used them with the ink, you could also use them with the gel pens or any other materials you have too. Slipping those ones back into their packet, we're going to get out the next item, with this one being a notebook. As you can probably tell from the dimensions of the box, this one is a traveler's notebook size, but opening that one up so that we can check it out, the cover on this one is so super gorgeous and matches perfectly with that tape that we saw at the start. While the foiling on the tape was rose gold, the cover of the notebook has gold foiling, but you can see we have the layered landscape on the front, and this continues over the spine and onto the back, though the back doesn't have any of that gold foiling. As you can see, we have an elastic closure in that kind of soft pink color and a pen loop on the side. And opening this one up, rather than white paper, we have craft paper inside here. And the inside cover has more of that gold foiling with a pattern that we saw before on one of the washi tapes. After the nameplate, we're then into the first dot grid page, and those dots are black against the craft paper. We have 2 ribbon bookmarks with the same pink as the elastic closure. And in setting this notebook up, I would be so super tempted to just center the theme around this washi tape because they match together so perfectly. But this one is not the last item that we have in the box, so putting it carefully back inside its box and getting out our next item. This one is also a notebook, but this time in an A5 size. And while the traveler's notebook had 144 pages of 150 GSM paper, this one has 192 pages of 160 GSM paper. This one is on a rust-colored buckram, but has a rose gold desert scenery at the bottom. And on the spine, we have a continuation of some cacti on the bottom edge here. And on the back, it is just that full rust color. We of course have the elastic closure and the pen loop, and you can probably already tell from the side here that this one has white paper. Well, mostly white paper, because while this is white dot grid, the inside cover is actually colored with that same kind of watercolor gradient that we saw before. We have more of the cacti design on the front here, again using that rose gold foiling. I absolutely love this gradient, I think it is so pretty. And I love that the little ampersand charm on one of the ribbon bookmarks is also in rose gold, so it matches the foiling really nicely. For our 2 notebooks, we have the buckram and the vegan leather cover, but this notebook is not our final item, so putting it back into its box so that we can grab out the next one. This one is an A5 journal cover. Opening up the box, this one is hand sewn using soft corduroy, so the texture on this one is slightly fuzzy and soft. To open it up, we just need to pull through this closure, and then we can see that on the inside it has a faux leather, this one being very smooth and soft. And while we do have an A5 notebook in the box, you don't have to use that notebook specifically with this one, it can be used with any A5 notebook. You can see that the right hand side has a pen loop stitched into it, and that's so when we slip the back cover of the notebook into the side here, we still have a pen loop. Putting my swatch notebook inside this one though, you can see you just slip the front cover into the front pocket, and the back cover into the back pocket. And then you can just close this one up, sliding that closure back in here, and you effectively have a new notebook cover. Looking at the top, you can see that that notebook is kept away from the very edge, so it is nice and safe. And we have a similar amount of space on the side here as well, which means that when you put your pen into the pen loop holder, that one's going to sit very comfortably underneath this closure. Taking the swatch book out of the cover so that we can put all of the items back into the sub box though, if you wanted to grab one for yourself, all you have to do is jump over to Archer and Olive using the link in the description box. I would love to know which item in the box you're most excited for. I think for me, it's probably the Traveler's Notebook, not only for the fact that it has craft paper, which I love, but also because the cover is so beautiful. But as said, I would love to know which item you're most excited for. Very eager to hear your thoughts, and as always, thanks for watching.